Hour 3 Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayes, Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. We've got Bill Guerin coming up in a few moments, GM of the Minnesota Wild. And Wild are in town playing the Leafs tomorrow night. Then the Leafs head out west, Edmonton Saturday night, and they're going to go through Calgary, Vancouver, Seattle, and then shut her down for the Four Nations face-off. We're 2 weeks away from the Four Nations face-off, 2 weeks tonight. And,
wow.
It happens pretty quick. And the Leafs, I think they only have 5 games left before they shut it down. And
they Saturday night Edmonton?
Saturday night in Edmonton.
Is it the 7 o'clocker?
It's 7 p.m. Eastern time. You know it.
God, you
well,
love
you know
that,
it. It's
you
the front game.
Know it.
You're not making that the 10 o'clock special.
Of
That's
course
the front
not.
Game.
I'm not staying up late to watch that. I will not adjust my programming on Saturday night. People in Toronto, they need it. 7 p.m. Eastern
It's
time.
one of your favorite things to announce. You like announcing Sunday in Vancouver at 7.
Well, next Saturday's Vancouver at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Only Saturday night gets changed because they're playing on Tuesday in Calgary at 9 o'clock.
In Seattle, I think it's a 10 o'clock start maybe on the Thursday.
The only Saturday night, and that's a hockey night thing. That's why. It's not because during the week or any other day, it's what the team provides or whatever. Because Calgary, I think, is at 9 p.m. Like you said, Seattle's 10. Everything, it's just that Saturday night date. That's a TV thing. So
right, and I think the same thing when they go through California, right? When they play, let's say LA on the Saturday,
you're playing 10:30.
7. No, they play at 7 on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But the other games during the week or whatever are generally, 10 o'clock, 10:30, whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna come quick. The Four Nations face-off will arrive quickly, and then the Leafs will hit the break, and they'll come back, and they're gonna have 27 games left or whatever it is. Like it's happening.
And you know how that goes, man. That flies by. 25 games, like Gonzo.
Yeah, February flies. The trade deadline's right around the corner. It's going to happen quickly, and there's going to be a lot of jockeying for positions. And the Leafs had played a lot of games, and now they're kind of getting some time off here a little bit. There's not a lot of games over the last couple of weeks, and as a result, other teams are, I wouldn't say catching up, but Ottawa's, 6 points behind. They play the same amount of games. Florida's a point behind them.
Isn't that crazy, Hayes, how Ottawa could just grind and grind and grind? Like, they were down there near, Islanders, Philly territory, and now they're 6 points behind first place in the division.
Yeah. Exactly. And they got shut out all those times, and Allmark's not playing, and they still have found a way to win a lot of games, to their credit.
I keep saying it. It's a 5-game swing either way. You have 5 games in a row you can separate. 5 games winning or 5 games losing, you're back in the pack or worse. And that's you're going to control your own destiny down the stretch here. That's
Noodles, I think you would agree, a 5-game stinker, right now, the way things are jammed up, you're really done. You probably can't make it up.
You mean you're playing a lot of these teams? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's
you're
right.
Playing,
if Montreal goes on a stinker right now and drops 5 in a row, that'll probably cost them.
Yep. I'll give an example. Tonight, Boston's playing tonight. Montreal's playing tonight. Tampa's playing tonight. On the other side, Hurricanes, Rangers. Capitals are playing. All of these teams that in the Eastern Conference, they're all playing and around you. So if Florida wins tonight, technically on paper, they would be, ahead of the Leafs. They're not playing. Sorry, they're not playing tonight. No, but it's Tampa that would be catching up or whatever. That's bottom line is everybody around you, like you said, Hayes, is lumping in. But you got to control your own destiny. If you're the Leafs, you got to worry about tomorrow night against Minnesota, and let everything else take care of itself. You worry about your own.
And the Leafs have done a good job of that. They had that 3-game losing streak a couple of weeks ago, all in reg. That stings, But then they rectified that by winning 3 in a row. So, for the most part, the Leafs have been comfortable. They've been sitting atop the division really for quite some time. Florida's been behind them, but not far behind, but Toronto's been pretty comfortably in that one hole, and again, we'll see what comes of it starting tomorrow night. And we know Joseph Woll will play tomorrow. Joseph Woll will play Saturday in Edmonton, but they don't have any back-to-backs. I wonder if he plays the rest of the way, unless Stolarz returns. And Stolarz did practice with the team today, and Berube did say that they're hoping he returns before Four Nations. So Stolarz, if he's prepared to play, they'll play him. But if he's not, why would you not play Joseph Wall the rest of the way here?
Well,
especially
doesn't
with 2
the big
weeks off
question
after
have
that.
to be it's up to Joseph Wall? Like, that's a lot of heavy lifting there, Hazy B.
A lot of emotional games. Is that what you're saying?
Oh.
Emotional games. Yeah.
Well, I would say I think Stolarz gets maybe one out west.
If he's healthy, fine, Noodles. Stolarz is a different beast. He's a guy
but
that
there is no
returns,
reason
he's
if he's not coming back that he shouldn't play all of the games. You've got breaks in between.
Exactly.
There's 4. Didn't you say 4 games and then there's the Four Nations break?
Minnesota tomorrow, Edmonton Saturday, Calgary Tuesday, Seattle Thursday, Vancouver Saturday, and then they're off for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got no back-to-backs. You've had a long break here. If I'm the Leafs, I would be shocked if he didn't play. The only guy that might step in is Stolarz. If Stolarz returns and can play, you'd probably play him against Calgary or Seattle, right? But if he's not prepared to play, I'm playing Joseph Wall every single night. I'd be shocked if they didn't. Yeah. Because this is a big stretch, man. And then the whole league's going to shut down for 2 weeks. So, again, the Leafs head out to Edmonton on Saturday night, but prior to that, they've got Minnesota in town tomorrow. And here is the GM of the Wild and GM of the American team for the Four Nations face-off. Here's Bill Guerin back on OverDrive. How you doing, Bill?
Hey, guys, I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing well. Thank you for joining us. And you guys obviously had some big news today. You announced that Kiril Kaprizov is going to have surgery, and it's not season-ending. It's week-to-week. He's likely out, I believe you said, for at least 4 weeks. But, you never want to see a guy like that ever go out. But is there do you take any solace in the fact that 2 week break is coming and maybe this is the best time for him to kind of figure this out so he's ready to rock come the stretch run here?
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, that's the silver lining of it is that, we do have that 2 weeks that it's kind of found time, no games. So I guess, in a situation like we're in, that's a positive thing. And, hey, look, we're just going to have to deal with it like we have in the past when he's been out of the lineup or other, big players for us have been out. And, hey, look, nobody feels sorry for us. This happens all over the league all the time. So we've just got to, be business as usual.
So, Bill, I don't know if you're aware, but outside of your market, a lot of people have called you guys probably one of the biggest surprises in the National Hockey League as far as, where you guys are in the standings, the successful season you've had.
I never said that.
Well,
I never said that once.
Outside of O-Dog.
The whole time.
You had your pegged right now. Cup final
Me
right
too,
away.
then. I'll throw myself in there, too. Me too, Bill. I always believed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's shined up and polished, and he's looking clear into it all the time. It's
Exactly. But, what would you attribute to, the successful season you've had so far, based on some of even the challenges you've had, even the cap situation as well?
I just, honestly, I think it gets down to, the details. The details in kind of which we play. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be. Everybody's there when they're supposed to be there. The guys have just really listened to John, bought into what he's teaching them, and they play together. And honestly, it's just I think early on they saw what the results were from playing like that, and they like it. They like to win, and I think they just want to continue to do that. So I really think that kind of the detail of our game has really grown a lot.
Billy, we were talking about injuries last week and just how players, I think they view them differently now. I think in your playing, I played against you for a long time. You did not like missing any game. I don't think any players did. There was almost a fear of missing games. How have you kind of adjusted to the kind of modern approach to possibly missing a game and it might not bother guys that much?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, listen, we played in a different time, right? And I think there was a lot more pressure put on us to play. I think there was a lot less security in our job. You see a lot of the younger players now with, long-term contracts for big money, and there's security in that. We didn't have that, especially as younger players. But I also think, I also think like the schedule is crazy, with, Four Nations, Olympics, all these different things. The schedule's crazier than ever, and I think guys really feel it, maybe even more than we did, and they might need a break. And, that's one thing, though, and I think it's changed in a good way that, play when you're ready. We can't pressure guys into playing. If you're still banged up, if you're not feeling, I'm not even saying 100%, but if you're not at the percentage that you want to be, then don't play. Because we don't want guys out there second-guessing themselves, and I think that always leads to more injury. So I don't want you out there thinking about your injury and you might not be ready. I want you out there when you're ready to play mentally, and you can give everything that you have, not kind of cut corners and play on the outside. When you're ready, you're ready, and if you get out there, you better be ready, and you better be playing hard.
We're chatting with Bill Guerin, GM of the Wild, Minnesota, in town tomorrow night. Another thing that has changed, drastically since you guys played in the league was how goaltenders are utilized, and there's no more, 70 start guys, and everything's about tandems. And obviously Gustafson's been great for you this year, but there's Marc-Andre Fleury still plugging along, and he's gotten in 17 games this year, and he's still a big personality. What does he still bring to your club? What does he bring to the dressing room that you value most in terms of his approach to life, approach to the game, and everything that Flower brings to your team?
Yeah, I think you hit, a bunch of them right on the head there. Like, he brings energy, he brings life, but he also brings that professionalism, that competitiveness that's made him a great player. When guys see him at 40 years old, preparing for practice, preparing for games, they look over and they see, a Hall of Fame career, and they're, hey, look, this is how a Hall of Famer approaches the game. You know what? He has fun, and he's smiling, and he loves to play practical jokes. But when it's business, and he's ready to go. And I just think that he's got such great balance in his life that's a good lesson. It can't just all be hockey, and it can't all be screwing around. But a balance is really good.
When you played with him, did he ever get you? Was there ever
a time
he
where
knows
he got
better?
He knows better.
He knew better.
He knew better.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's certain guys that'll punch you in the face with some force if you do that type of stuff.
Were you one of those guys,
Some
Bill?
guys get you back with another practical joke, another guy just punches you in the face.
different routes for retribution, I guess, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But that's got to be a wild experience for you, Bill. I mean, that was obviously at the end of your career, but you won a cup with Flower, and that was in 08-09, and then 09-10 you were with him in Pittsburgh, and he was young. But now you're his GM. What is that what's the relationship like? We're always curious about that, players with GMs, and that's maybe another thing that's changed in the game. Where and Noodles used to say they never talked to the GMs. There was no relationship back in the day. Has that changed at all in terms of the GM player relationship on a day-to-day basis? Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, it was prerequisite that before I traded for him, he would agree to call me boss every day.
Right.
So, but we have fun. Listen, I don't know what it's like on other teams, but it definitely has changed. I think throughout the league, you have to have more of a relationship with your players now because you have them on these longer contracts. They have more input, and it's good. For me also, like you guys know me, I like to crack jokes and have some laughs and stuff, and I haven't changed. I don't want to change, and I like to get to know the players because I think I can help them more if I know them better, and I feel like I can understand them better as people. So if they're playing well, how things are, or if they're not playing well, how can I help them? So I think it's really important for coaches and GMs to have better relationships than we used to.
So how are you going to be able to separate yourself with the Four Nations face-off when you're, working with guys that you're going to be trying to win a Stanley Cup, and you'll be dealing with, guys from Dallas and guys from Vegas, you name it, right through the league. Is there a separation? You kind of got to, just separate yourself from the Wild and just say, hey, I'm in management from this scenario, and treat it for 2 weeks and then go back to the regular season?
Yeah, 100%. Like, hey, you gotta take it where I am today. And when we start the Four Nations and we've got guys on Sweden, and well, great, good luck to them. But we're with the U.S. Now these are my players. And then when we get back with the Wild, you go right back to it. Listen, they're always our players, but we want to win, and you have a certain mindset and do certain things in order to do that. And I think being all in with the group that you're the general manager of, or coaching, or playing for, you have to be 100% in.
We've been kind of curious what to expect for this tournament, and you played a lot of international hockey. You played the World Juniors. I know you were on that '96 World Cup team, and there were some like legit brawls. When the U.S. played Canada, like fights and massive hits and animosity.
It was crazy, man.
It was an awesome tournament. Awesome.
It was a great tournament. I don't think there are much different rules. Well, there are actually rules now.
Right, there's rules.
Yeah. So, and it's mid-season as opposed to the beginning, before the season. But I expect this to be very competitive. I mean, hey, look, you can say what you want, and guys will, people have asked me that question before. Is it going to be kind of like an all-star game? No. The players in this league and in this tournament are so competitive. They want to win, so they'll do whatever it takes to win. I think you're going to see some really high level stuff.
Okay, that's what we're hoping for. I mean, it's been a long time, right? It's been basically a decade. Like it just sucks for younger players. Like again, we keep saying back in the day, but so many the all-time great players always had an opportunity to play in these big events, and guys like McDavid and Matthews and Hughes and McCarr, they haven't had that opportunity, and it's long overdue.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it, and I think that's why everybody's so excited. This generation of players, like the people you just named, they're incredible hockey players, and I don't think the talent has been at this level ever in the game, and this many high-end players, so, in all the countries. So, yeah, I think this is a long time coming. It's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. We'd be remiss not to ask you about the big news late in the week, last week, that obviously happened within your division. Mikko Rantanen traded from Colorado to Carolina as a competing GM in the division. It's a war zone out there with Winnipeg, yourselves, Colorado, Dallas. How did you react when you heard the news Friday night?
Oh, I was shocked. But then when you take a step back, you just, hey, look, they're just trying to make their team better. You never know what's going on behind closed doors for another team, so it's really tough to give an accurate assessment of what went on. But it was a big trade.
Yeah.
I guess surprising, but the two GMs behind the scenes, they know what's best for their team at the right time, and I give both of them credit for pulling it off, because it's a big deal, and it takes big you-know-whats to do something like that. So I applaud them.
Absolutely. He is Bill Guerin, the GM of the Minnesota Wild and Team USA for the Four Nations face-off. Good luck tomorrow night, the rest of the way, and at the Four Nations as well. Thank you for doing this, Bill.
Thanks, guys. Always good to catch up. Thanks.
You got it. There's Bill Guerin. And, man, he was tough, Bill Guerin, back in the day. He
was like a big, strong. I like when he said there was security now when the guys are playing. They make a lot of money. Billy Guerin was making $9 million for a lot of years.
Yeah, Bill had some security for sure.
Yeah, he made some money.
Man, he had a good career.
He had a great fight.
1,263 games in his career.
Dude, he was a nasty guy, too. I don't know if you remember this, but Billy Guerin cross-checked one of his own teammates in practice.
That was in Pitt, wasn't it?
No, it was in Dallas.
Was he in Dallas at that point?
He was playing for the Dallas Stars.
Okay.
And he absolutely... It was like the worst cross-check you've ever seen. And it was in practice.
Yeah.
And it was caught on tape.
Yeah.
He was a real competitive guy, like really strong, could skate really well.
Mm-hmm.
And when he came off the wall, like he was going to the net, he was taking that thing to the net. He's a really good player, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
2-time Cup winner.
He was with Boston, and him and Iginla had an unbelievable fight right in front of me. And I think Iggy broke his finger on like his ribs. They were both doing body shots, like their heads were covered, so they were both like punching each other in the side. I remember, I could just feel like you know when you're watching, you feel like those guys feeling the shots. It was an unreal fight.
Oh yeah,
both of them were real big competitors.
Well, he was in Edmonton for a number of years, right? He probably fought Iginla a few times. I'll bet.
Yeah. Guaranteed. Like the two of them, they were kind of cut from the same cloth. Like Iggy scored more goals, but Billy Guerin was a hell of a player.
Yeah,
like really,
right
really
shot, power forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of throwback.
Yeah,
but we'll see what comes of it tomorrow night with Minnesota in town. All right, best bet still to come. We've got confirm or deny after dark. Rory McIlroy and why he loves playing at the RBC Canadian Open, and the Raptors now deciding we're just going to win ball games. They won again last night. That's 4 in a row. So that's great. Brooklyn's caught them going the other way because Brooklyn's lost 7 in a row. Like, make up your mind. Are you tanking or are you not? Do not start winning games. You can't do it. You cannot end up with the 8th pick, 9th pick. You can't. It'll be a sickening process for you to go this far and then start winning games. So we'll get to that a little bit later this hour as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, best bets coming up later in the hour. We move forward without any football this weekend, which is tough, but the Super Bowl will be here before you know it. And every incredible playoff moment on TSN is powered by Bud Light, a refreshing taste that's easy to enjoy. Tune in game day for pulse-pounding action. There was some pulse-pounding action in that TGL last night. I got to give him credit, man. McIlroy and Tiger.
Guess why, though?
Tiger Woods, man. And Rory McIlroy.
You think if that was like Tom Kim and Keegan Bradley on 2 other teams that there would be that much pub about that? That's the only reason it worked last night.
I know.
It was close, and Tiger Woods was involved.
It is somewhat astonishing that this is a completely modern, new-aged venture
and
in
he's
golf.
the only key to make it work.
And he's still the only option they have to make it work.
And it'll probably be like that until this thing ends. People are going to be like, is Tiger playing tonight?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, I'm not watching.
Exactly. Because I'm guilty of it. I'm like, I'll go watch this guy chip a ball from a fake green. You know, like I'll do that and watch him hit golf balls and interact with people. And McIlroy's not far behind. He's behind, but he's not far behind. Watching that guy destroy a golf ball into a screen is still incredibly impressive.
Yeah. And Tom Kim is like the modern entertainer where he can act all jacked up, and he's probably super pumped that he's buddies now with Tiger Woods. And that whole dynamic they had last night, like that idea would work. But then when you just bring in 6 new guys next week that don't have Tiger Woods there, it's like, I don't know who's going to watch it.
But are they putting money in their jeans for this or what?
They'd have to be. They're not,
what type of scratch do you think they're making?
They have to get back to... They got to get back to Pebble Beach for a Pro-Am tomorrow. They're not flying all the way across the country for nothing.
Yeah.
Listen, they're invested in this though too. Like Tiger and Rory, they're doing it for free. I would guess they're doing it because they have a long-term plan to make big money. Right? It's their technology, they're invested, they own it. You know, I can't imagine they're making a ton of money. ESPN owns the rights down in the States. I don't know if ESPN's paying a fortune for that, you know. I think it's to get it up and off the ground.
Yeah, but you think every other Joe Blow's going to
No, I think they'd be getting paid. Yeah, I agree with that. If I'm Tom Kim or Kevin Kisner or something, I'm like, I need to make something out of this. Like, what's in it for me?
I don't have time to just fly there and be like, how am I getting there? I'm like, they're not doing it for free, even if Tiger Woods asks for a solid.
Right, I would think but the big guys are invested. Like Mike Trout was there last night. I'm pretty sure Trout put money into it. You know, like I think they have a bunch of big names that have invested in this. The technology, the idea, the sport, you know, whether or not it can work and whether or not it can expand, and will other sports try to do it? Like I was curious about that thinking about it last night. Like, is there another sport where you could do this? Like, could you have baseball, like a batting cage type thing? I don't think so. But
I don't think there's any other sport.
that can do like a simulation type thing.
Baseball
like a sim
would be
like
the
this.
only one.
It'd be a niche sport. It wouldn't be like a mainstream sport. It'd be a niche sport. Curling, darts,
Yeah. And no one's
slap.
going to watch that. You just don't have a big
Slap.
enough personality involved.
What's that one? The slapping across the face. Like
Yeah.
that's an insane sport. What's that called again?
I don't-
Slapping across the face.
No, it's got a name to it.
I don't know what it's
Have
called.
you not watched it? Have you?
I don't find that compelling in the least. Like, I don't understand how anyone would be interested in that personally.
Do you mean participating or watching?
Both.
Or both.
Both. Like, there's nothing to it. They just get slapped in the face. I get it. It's, okay.
How do
cool.
you win? Like, do you have to knock the guy out?
I don't know. Noodles.
I
is
think if we
fast.
end up, I think if we end up in a draw for the football picks, right in the studio, we get one each. Can you imagine how hard Luke Wilson would slap
would
Al's
hit.
brother?
He would knock Al's brother's head right off his body.
I would be concerned. Al's brother would turn into an owl.
Luke Wilson
on TV.
versus Doogie, one slap each. I think Doogie's head would pop right off his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think HR is going to allow that.
Power slap.
Yeah.
But you see, they wear a mouth guard, and then they wear this. They use this thing they put behind their arms, like it's like a. You have to. It's like a bar, like a padded bar. You put so that you lock your arms, so you don't put your hands up to guard your face.
Oh, that's
so you
great.
lock your hands. It's a bar, and then you get slapped across the face, and half the people hit their head on the padded dash
Right.
on their way down. Like I heard from a business standpoint, like Dana White put $5 million into it. It's worth like $500 million.
I find that impossible
franchise.
to believe. Like I'm
telling
calling
you.
fake news on that.
$500 million, the slap
Half
in
a
the
billion
face.
dollar. I'm telling you right now,
Fake
news.
news.
It's a very popular. It's a very popular.
Who's
sport.
watching this? Where is the audience?
I'll start. I couldn't even tell you where to find that.
Me neither.
Other than
Me
like
neither.
searching up on Google slap
I'm
in the
telling
face
you,
contest.
it's every. Like I'm telling you. That's
How do
just
you have that much
You are
money in
fake
it? though?
news.
I'm not
How
fake
can
news.
it? How can it possibly? Like, is it selling out stadiums?
No,
Is
what
it
it is,
doing-
it's streaming. It's streaming money. It's all
You
like
can't make
viewership.
500 million on it's
No,
crypto or something.
Not
man.
500 million. You make it in 1 year. The value of that sport, that franchise, is worth $500 million.
I'm calling fake news on that.
All right, well,
you
I'll have to
are
dig up-
Ted Cruz.
I'm not lying, Ted. I'm telling you, I can.
All right, you corroborate that report.
I will corroborate it for you.
Okay.
I've
heard it, and let me clarify. I've heard that out there. Oh yeah, it's worth all this, and Dana White's made a fortune. I just find it hard to believe, and I'll
Yeah.
admit my ignorance to it because I'm not into it. I don't see how it's compelling to anyone to watch that kind of stuff.
I just
How
that
could
power
it
slap.
possibly be worth that much money?
I think because the value, like it's people are watching it. We might not be watching it. Other people are watching it, and it's a world league.
But
Like,
who's
that's the thing.
endorsing it is my question. Like in
World
order to get
League.
money out of it, you need people to put money up, right?
Yeah, but Dana White put the money up.
No,
Like,
I know that, but
it-
you need Nike. This round
Sponsorship.
brought to you by Nike. Like we're gonna buy advertising
Yeah.
into it. Like who's advertising
Okay.
Power Slap?
I will dig into it, and I will show you guys
Okay.
that the value of that franchise is worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
I'm shocked.
Can
by
we
that.
go up the chain to see if we can do it for a
Well,
playoff?
we're not gonna-
If we're,
no, we're not.
we're doing it in the studio. It's me versus Hayes, Luke versus Al's brother. It's one slap each, and whoever kind of flinches the most, they get a point to decide the football.
Well, that's another question. And you asked it. What is the judging? What is the scoring system for
Right.
Power Slap?
I don't know. I mean, if you win, you knock the other guy out.
That's
I
all
believe.
it is. You
I
just
don't.
go until someone gets knocked out.
All I see it is everywhere on Instagram. You see it everywhere on Twitter. You get caught down those rabbit holes, and it's like there's men and women. There's the one where the woman gets slapped across the face, and she smiles and blows a kiss to the other opponent, and then knocks
Maybe
her
they
out.
just
Like,
judge
it's
it
crazy.
like my old buddy who used to play in Europe. He did this thing, and it's really stupid, and I don't condone it. But he would wrap random people in the pills in like department stores and stuff, and he would judge how successful it was by the tilt of which they keeled over, and he would act like it was an accident.
That's so greasy.
And he
Tell
was
me
over.
someone grabbed him at some point.
No,
somebody would have stroked him in the face.
That's dangerous, man.
He won
hit
the
wrong
championship.
guy.
Dude, I get it, but he won the championship in Europe, and at center ice, the mayor of the town came out with a trophy, and he whapped him.
Yeah.
And he keeled. He loved it. This
The
guy
mayor?
was
This
the
guy's got
mayor.
an issue, man. This guy should be behind bars.
I'm telling you right now. So here's the analytics I was sent in a pitch deck. Power Slap raised $10 million in
Warren Buffett over
2022.
here.
Current valuation of Power Slap $450 million. So there you go.
Okay.
So that's the name of the
There's a
league, Power Slap.
Power Slap, and then there's
Power Slap.
There's pickleball, Major League Pickleball. There's slam ball. There's all
and
sorts
they're all
of different.
worth hundreds of millions
No,
of dollars.
they aren't. That's the thing. Power Slap is because it's gotten to that next level.
Okay.
So
I have
it's
not
crazy.
had one person say, "Hey, did you see the Power Slap the other night?"
Yeah.
What a night! I get it. I hear it. I hear you. That's the evaluation. Then that's the evaluation.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I'm telling you, it's worth a lot of money. We
right.
don't watch it. It's not our cup of tea. But
Yep.
I don't watch pickleball. I couldn't tell you how to
Me
play it.
neither.
I think it's tennis with a wiffle ball.
But
I
at least
believe, right?
people are playing that though. Like you don't go down to a gated community in Florida. People are slapping each other. You know what I mean?
but UFC, how much is that worth? Dana White started that, and
But
UFC,
that's a massive empire. Like that I can understand. UFC
Right.
has a backing. It's got, major companies behind it. It's got a huge following. It's got personalities. There's a scoring system. It's a combat sport.
It's more than a half a second event.
And that's another thing. Like,
I'm
it's just,
telling
hey,
you.
come watch this guy get slapped. Oh, he's out. Moving.
Yeah.
Oh, they just shovel these guys out.
Yeah. No, listen.
Crazy
I'm
to
just
me.
telling you, like that was the information I was sent.
Listen, you're not alone.
And-
I've got people. Our boy Donnie just sent us a text here.
Yeah.
He said he's seeing $750 million for Power Slap.
There you go. Like,
Wow.
yeah, I was told that Dana White put money into it, and the valuation of it has gone through the roof because it's a niche sport. Not everybody's watching it. It's a niche
Obviously.
sport.
I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. Okay.
Like crazy stuff, though, eh? Like
That is wild stuff. Like that's obviously an incredible investment
I've
by Dana
never
White and anybody
watched-
else.
I've never sat and streamed a match in my life, but I see the highlights just on little clips on snippets.
Well, I see it too. It pops up.
Yeah,
I
It's
bet
crazy.
you Rod Smith would just dummy everyone at TSN if we had like a bracket challenge.
Yeah.
Rod Smith, man.
Oh, yeah,
a power
Rod.
slap challenge. Yeah, Rod Smith would have destroyed everybody.
I think Rod Smith and Gino Retta in the finals. I think that's how the bracketology would play out.
Yeah, Gino would be a strong suitor. For
He
sure.
would. He would do a lunge and a quick whap.
Yeah, I'm running through different people that I think could be dangerous.
Well,
You know who would smack you silly? I think
Jennifer
Jermaine
Hedman.
Franklin would do
Oh,
back.
Jermaine's a
Dude,
huge guy.
That
He's like
guy's
6'8".
6'6".
yeah,
He's
Jermaine would
6'6".
dummy all of us.
He would
Yeah.
go backhand and crush you.
That would be terrifying to get,
The
to get
back of
smacked
his
by
hand.
Jermaine.
Yeah,
would be
he would
terrifying.
he would say, "I'm going backhand. It's not a problem. I'm not even going forehand."
Yeah, he would
Yeah,
backhand,
Jermaine.
and he would not. He would. He's a one seed.
Yeah,
If we're putting brackets
sure.
together,
You
he
want to
is-
go one seed, Jermaine, Rod Smith on the other side, a one seed.
Yeah.
Yes, and
there's-
we all know who would have won it. Had Dutchy,
Oh,
obviously.
Dutch would have
Dutchy
been
would have
smacking
destroyed
people.
everybody.
It would have been just a remarkable run by Dutch. He'd be he'd be
Yeah.
Mahomes.
He would
be
be
a dynasty.
Exactly.
But
He
Jermaine would be up there for sure. Rod Smith for sure. There's a few different people that I think could be a little bit sneaky.
I bet you
Mark
Sam
Rowe?
Mitchell would be sneaky.
Oh,
I was
Sammy
thinking Sammy.
Mitchell.
I was thinking Leo too. Like Leo Rout's a
Yeah.
big dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
Leo's all tanned up. He wouldn't want it. Like to me, Leo would like Leo's just put together. He wouldn't want to
He's
hurt
too
his
classy.
hand. Yeah,
Leo's
he's too
too
classy.
classy. Yeah,
Like,
he's
I
too
just
classy.
Stevie Caldwell pissed drunk.
Oh,
That is something
after
to tangle
5 or
with.
6, like that's
Yes.
yeah. You put Stevie like in the
Yeah.
Glasgow region.
A couple of whiskeys and 5 or 6 beers.
Sit Stevie on a couch at a fireplace with a bottle of brown liquor, and then say, "You're up. It's your turn."
Yeah.
That guy will go to the finals.
Yeah, watch yourself.
telling
He'd definitely be in the running.
We got to now research that. Now it's bothering me because you guys called me out, and I I was right. I was right.
Yeah,
that people
listen,
put money
I
into this.
apologize.
But I don't need an apology. What I need to do is do more research on it, because it stuck in the back of my mind when I saw this thing, and I was like, God, that's worth a lot of money. Like, who's watching? I had the same reaction as you, Brian. Who's watching it? Like, when is it? When are these tournaments? Where? But it keeps coming back like it's a world league.
I guess.
So I saw the other day on Instagram, there's a hockey fights league in Russia. Like, guys skate out and they like square off. They're wearing gloves, but they're on ice and they're fighting. And I started following them on Instagram, and the guy wrote me a note saying, "Thank you for the follow," and he wrote it in Russia. I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, that guy's a businessman.
But it was such a weird thing. But it was like hockey fights in Russia.
Yeah, that's extreme. And I guess, again, you can get that in different parts of the world where there's no regulations and all that kind of stuff.
Crazy.
All right, so one sport we are familiar with, one event we do love is the RBC Canadian Open. And we mentioned Rory last night at the TGL. They put on a show. And he was asked by someone down there about him committing, because he committed last week, I believe it was, late last week. He's coming back to the RBC Canadian Open up at TPC Toronto. Tickets are available. We've been up there when he's there. He's a rock star. Like, it's Rory
he's
and
Tiger
everyone
Woods,
else.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not disrespecting everyone else. It's that Rory is a special, special beast. And this is what he had to say about continuously coming up here, why he comes up here. And I think it's a great pitch, and I hope other players are listening to it, why it would make sense for them to do the same. Here's Rory McIlroy on playing the Canadian Open.
I first played the Canadian Open in 2019. And when I got there and I played that week, it obviously helped that I won, but I went away kicking myself that I hadn't played it sooner. The thing to me is I love playing in great atmospheres, and the Canadian Open is one of the best atmospheres of the year. The crowd and the fans really get into it. We have the rink hole or whatever part 3 that's going to be, and I love playing in front of crowds that are really enthusiastic and are really into it. So that's why I love coming back up to Canada playing. It's a good week as well to see how sharp you are going into the US Open. Ever since I started playing the Canadian Open, my results in the US Open have been much better. So I think my success in the US Open, or my really good results in the US Open, are definitely because I go and I play Canada every year.
Yeah, that's a ringing endorsement, man. That is a ringing endorsement.
Talk about it like you want to talk about crowd support. Like, if people don't appreciate and respect those comments, like, they're going to love the guy even more.
Big time. And he knows the history, the rink hole, and that it's obviously a par 3, and the reaction that comes with that, and it's a tough challenge, and it's an Open championship, and there's a variety of different players in it, and it prepares him well for the Open. And listen, it was heartbreak at Pinehurst. Like, we know what happened. He missed the 2 putts, and it's still shocking that happened. But he directly correlates his quality results at the U.S. Open, and he has been in the hunt a lot over the last 5 years at the Open, with coming up and playing the RBC Canadian Open. And you can't ask for a better pitch. If you want to get prepared for a tough test, make sure you come up here. Come up to Canada and play here first. And also what he says about the crowd, and he's right. The crowds are crazy, man. It's a wild crowd. It's an awesome, awesome sporting event. It's a lot of fun. And we look forward to getting back up there in June. This year it's back in early June. Because I think the Memorial flipped. I think Nicholas was not ecstatic about the way things played out in the past or whatever. So I think the Memorial and the RBC Canadian Open are going to flip, and it's going to be right before the U.S. Open. So shout out to Rory McIlroy.
Love it.
All right. Okay, we'll come back with our best bets, powered by FanDuel. We'll get an update from HR if we can on whether or not we can put something on the line for a tiebreak.
Bracketology, man, and we'll just get to the finals.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. It would not be easy at TSN.
Dude, if you imagine you got in the same kind of pod as Jermaine and Rod and Gino Red, it would be the death pool.
Yeah. It'd be tough, man. It'd be really, really tough. And there'd be some sneaky TSN people.
Jonas. I want Jonas and Masters.
Yeah,
I bet you little Jimmy Duthie could jump up and smack you silly.
I agree.
I think he would have something.
I think he would
agree.
too.
It would be like a springboard jump and like a kumite type slap.
I don't know if you're allowed. I think the rules are you just have to like anchor yourself and smack. So Jimmy would cheat. That's what it would be, right?
Well, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Right?
Agreed.
That's been
There
determined.
you go.
That's
There you
been
go.
determined already today. All right. Best bets coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right. So we're doing some more digging here on Power Slap. And now we've got all these experts reaching out with all these different details. Right? Everyone's an expert on what's going on here.
Yeah.
But
Fans.
Was I
of
right then?
power-
Was I right then? It's worth a lot of money.
hugely
correct?
popular. Hugely popular.
Yeah, whatever money it's worth, Noodles. I've never, like, water cooler talk, like putting your golf shoes on at the club. I've never heard one person say, hey, did you see Billy Bob slap out Rick last night on Power? Like,
Done.
I don't
Well,
know
obviously.
anyone that's interested in it.
It's just not an icebreaker, man.
No.
It's
Did
not.
you
Like,
see
did
him-
you watch Power Slap last night? No, I've never heard anything of the
Yeah.
sort.
No, me neither.
I know, but I'm
Me
telling
neither.
you, that's why I use the word niche. It's if you like it, you like it. I just put in the group chat that website or whatever for the hockey fights or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Ice Fights Russia, it's called.
Okay.
Like it's guys just squaring off at center ice fighting. It was didn't they have that years ago over here? Link Gates and Tony Twist and these guys fighting.
There was a
like-
Quebec hockey league where there was like a professional Quebec league where it was just a lot of old fighters would go and play in it. I don't know if it still
that's
exists.
just the senior league in Quebec, I think.
Yeah,
it's
I think
just-
so. And it
But
just had that
with
reputation.
fights.
I swear there was like a fighting because I
Yeah,
think
there
Brant
was.
Myers and guys like that fought. There was like it was like fights. They had a little ring and you fought at center ice. Now this guy's continued it on in Russia. These niche sports. It's all social media. There's no like, hey, tune in to TSN at 8:00. Power slaps on it. It's like I think it's on like Instagram and TikTok and all these. Like that's how they've gotten big is throughout the world. That way you can watch it anywhere in the world. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I love it. Today's best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm going under in the Stars Golden Knights game tonight. Paying plus money on that. 5.5's the total, but I think that's going to be a great, great game. And over Blackhawks Lightning, I think Tampa likely just blows the doors off Chicago. I could see 7-2 tonight, 7-3. That parlay paying plus 275. Today's best bets powered by FanDuel. Live same-game parlays are now available for every NHL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 18+, physically located in Ontario. Yeah, Winnipeg, Montreal tonight. It's gonna be a good game.
That'd be a good game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. And the Habs, they gotta follow suit. They gotta keep up, right? Like Winnipeg's in a great place, but if you're Montreal, you've done all this winning over the last month and a half to get back into the race. Now you got to keep up with Boston and Ottawa and Columbus and Tampa.
Yeah.
Seems early to scoreboard watch, but it's happening, man.
I think it is. Yeah,
It
I think
is.
the
Game
bubble
on.
teams, it is. Like Vancouver, that's a big win last night against St. Louis.
Big time.
Big
Because
win. You
St.
needed
Louis
that
was
win.
chasing them too, right? So
Absolutely.
It's every night you're going to watch it. Like I say it all the time in the broadcast in Ottawa. Like you're going to scoreboard watch down the stretch the whole time, especially when you're in that group. Every night teams are getting points, right? So you
I'd
gotta,
be so pissed at guys if I was a Vancouver fan. We've been talking about them all week. But, like, you get that 1 year where everything looks to be solidified and they're going to be solid for the next 5 years, and then all of a sudden all this nonsense pops up. It must be just like...
It's sickening.
Yeah, it's sickening,
It's
man.
sickening because even if you backdoor into the playoffs, you have no faith they're going to go on a run.
Yeah.
None.
yeah.
It's like the air just came out of it all at once, and it's like, really? We can't have nice things? Like, we're good for 1 year, and then our goalie's hurt, and then these two guys hate each other. One has to go, maybe both. It's just...
Well,
for the diehard Van fan, you must be watching that saying, this is crazy.
That's the fascinating part is somebody's got to go, and it'll be interesting to see what the marketplace is for it. If you're trading JT Miller, you better get a good player back. Or if you trade Pedersen, like that's a young guy, but he makes $11.6 million. Like what team could take 11.6?
That's the thing, man. Like I don't think Pedersen's out of the woods there at all.
No, I don't either, and he shouldn't be.
And he should not be because, you know, you can't just blame JT Miller for everything. And, He's not playing well enough, and he hasn't played well enough since he signed that contract.
Yeah.
And he's got to figure it out. He's got to figure it out. And
agreed.
We'll see if he does, because Quinn Hughes is pulling his weight, and other guys are stepping up in different areas when need be. And Quinn Hughes alone deserves better from his teammates.
Yes.
And we'll see what comes of it. All right, Leafs Wild tomorrow. We'll tee that up, and it's going to be a fun one as we look forward to, again, Super Bowl Sunday. What is it, 12 days away? There'll be a lot of discussion about Doogie the commissioner, Noodles maybe stepping in, and what we decide to do moving forward. All right, it's been fun. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out, everyone for tuning in today, TV, radio, podcast, web. We appreciate it. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Set up the power slap as the tiebreaker. Luke Wilson, V.A.'s brother. Watch out, 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.